Hello, living under a rock. You're feeling anxious about the potential impact of AI on your job, and it's completely understandable to have those worries. It's a significant concern for many right now. Take a slow, deep breath, holding it for a count of 4, then exhaling slowly for a count of 6. Repeat 3 times. Press the play button to start. Listen to the affirmations and repeat them to yourself. I am capable and resilient. I recognize that changes in technology.
Imagine starting your day with an AI that doesn't just talk at you, but actually vibes with you. It checks in on your mood, generates affirmations that feel strangely personal, and guides you through a 5-minute reset. And the wild part? This entire app was coded from a single prompt in Gemini 3. In this video, we'll explore real-world capabilities of Gemini 3 and Nano Banana Pro, the latest AI models from Google. We'll also see what happens when we push these new AI models to their limits. Welcome back to the AI Trend Alerts. If you're new here, this is where AI hype gets put to work on real projects, code, visuals, workflows, and you get to see what actually delivers and what quietly breaks. What this video will do: Google just dropped Gemini 3 and Nano Banana Pro, and the pitch is huge. Build anything from a single prompt, vibe code apps, and analyze anything from charts, videos, large documents to messy sketches. In this video, we'll test those claims across 3 big promises: build anything, apps, games, visual dashboards; analyze and visualize anything, data, plans, and layouts; and everyday simplification from complex 3D cooking sims all the way down to simple affirmations in Lumina. And because Nano Banana Pro is being marketed as turn your sketches and blueprints into photorealistic scenes, we'll see where it's actually magic and where it still needs a human touch. Build anything. First, test a Neon Defender-style browser arcade game. The prompt was insanely simple. Create a playable browser game with movement, difficulty levels, scoring, sound effects, mobile touch support, and game over logic. That's it. On the first run, Gemini 3 spat out HTML script for a fully playable loop with synthesized audio engine, a particle system, adaptive difficulty, and full mobile touch support. The visuals even nailed the neon look without extra art direction. Now, zoom out from games to something different. We asked Gemini 3 for a detailed SVG butterfly with lifelike animation with natural flapping motion, realistic wings, vibrant colors. The result? Structured, beautiful butterfly with animation, all from a single prompt. This is vibe coding in action. Next, something totally different: emoji tails. These models aren't just for complex projects. Here, the prompt was basically turn these emoji combinations into tiny stories with a clear beginning, twist, and punchline. What Gemini 3 did: Gemini 3 consistently understood the emoji combinations and turned them into coherent theme stories that match the request.
A small rocket launched. It zoomed to a big ringed planet. An alien waved hello. They shared a sweet donut and became friends.
Where it needed help: the main issue, it sometimes over-explained and drifted into long paragraphs until the prompt was tightened to 1 short paragraph, keep it light, 1 twist. So for creative text-heavy tasks, Gemini 3 is strong, but you get the best results when you lock in length and tone very explicitly. This is the core of Google's vibe coding promise. You describe the product, not the components. And Gemini 3 refactors the UI and logic live while you talk to it. Analyze anything. But Gemini 3 isn't just about code. It also has strong multimodal capabilities. We fed it 2 YouTube videos: a detailed butter chicken recipe with full written ingredients and method, a second video on how to properly boil and prep soya chunks. The goal? Turn those into a vegetarian butter chicken recipe, then build a 3D cooking simulation and a voiceover script. Gemini 3 successfully merged techniques from both videos and replaced chicken with boiled soya chunks while preserving the original flavor flow: marinade, makhani gravy, finishing, everything. Produced a clean, step-by-step veg recipe that you could genuinely cook from.
Step 1. The aromatic boil. We start by boiling the soya chunks in water.
Visual, show the running 3D sim while narration text scrolls. In other words, you go from 2 videos to an explainer-ready 3D sim plus audio and a couple of iterations, as long as you're explicit about format. I'm quite positive that you can make this look more realistic with few more details, iterations, and combining Gemini 3 with other models. This lines up with Google's claim that Gemini 3 can handle long, multimodal instructions and keep domain-specific structure intact. Switching over to Nano Banana Pro, the promise is turn rough inputs into professional-grade visuals. So first, a rough floor plan sketch went in with the prompt, turn this into a professional architectural plan on grid paper, keep the measurements intact. Nano Banana Pro snapped everything to a clean grid, preserved the layout, and gave you something that actually looks buildable for a landscape architect. They were tiny misalignments and an extra sink that appeared out of nowhere, but those were easy to fix with one more instruction. With another prompt, it transformed the plan into a 3D visualization, adding depth, shadows, and realistic materials. Then things got interesting. Instead of a sketch, you start with a satellite image of a backyard. Step 1, remove the large tree and do a generative fill. Step 2, turn this into a professional backyard plan with realistic measurements. In AI Studio, Nano Banana Pro was set to 4K with realistic scaling, and given a single design brief, turn this backyard into a modern oasis. Deck, under-deck barbecue kitchen, sunken seating with outdoor TV, hot tub and deck, water feature, shed, and pathways with flowers and pebbles. From that one prompt, it arranged each zone into a coherent site plan that still felt physically buildable instead of Pinterest fantasy. And when you test the Edit Anything feature by saying replace the hot tub deck, and pond area with a kids' play area, the model delivered a convincing redesign that would make any backyard renovation pitch meeting 10 times easier. Where it breaks, engineering drawings and torso twist. Here's where Analyze Anything quietly hits a wall. For tasks where you're supposed to reconstruct a 3D object from strict 2D views, classic engineering drawing exercises, Nano Banana Pro just doesn't land the geometry. It can give you something that looks pretty, but not something a mechanical engineer would grade as correct. Same story with anatomy-heavy prompts. For a hands-on-heart yoga pose and loose clothing, the base Nano Banana missed exact hand placement and front-facing posture. When we switched to Nano Banana Pro, it finally produced hands on heart that we wanted. But when we pushed to a more advanced torso twist pose, the model struggled to produce an output. Great for mood boards, not yet a replacement for a figure drawing class. To see how far this build anything thing goes with data, we dropped a Savings Growth Simulator prompt in simple language into Gemini 3 and asked it to generate a code to build it. And within minutes, I had a working code that was mathematically accurate too. I used it to build a tool that feels like something a personal finance creator could ship as a companion app. We gave raw data to Nano Banana Pro and asked it to create a bar chart using data provided. And as you can see, the model nailed it with accurate data representation. We animated this chart using Gemini 3 again with a simple prompt and plain language. Gemini 3 rendered a clean animation in one shot without you touching a charting library. This is the part that's quietly huge. You can go from raw data table to a production-ready bar chart animation in minutes using natural language and then reuse that same pattern for any explainer video. Not just savings, but channel growth, experiment results, or product comparisons. Zooming back to Nano Banana Pro, the sweet spot is anything visual, but loosely constrained, turning rough sketches into architectural plans, converting satellite shots into renovation concepts, and remixing zones with plain English edits. It's like having a concept artist who works off your ideas and keeps the layout believable. You also get creative studio-level controls, high-fidelity renders, 2K and 4K outputs, aspect ratio flexibility, and localized edits so you can tweak specific areas without nuking the whole scene. But when the task is less make this look good and more get this technically exact, Nano Banana Pro still cracks. Engineering reconstruction and advanced yoga anatomy showed that it can drift from the constraints even when the prompt is crystal clear. Let's come back to Lumina, because this tiny vibe-coded app taps into a much bigger shift in how AI shows up in your day. We've seen how Gemini 3 and Nano Banana Pro can tackle complex, multimodal tasks, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can build is also the simplest. With one prompt, Gemini 3 assembled a daily affirmations coach that adapts to your mood, offers vibe-based lines instead of generic quotes, and wraps it inside a simple, calming UI. Tiny tweaks like making the mood slide more calming, adding multiple language support, or adding images are handled instantly, all in plain language. This is the opposite of more noise, more notifications. It feels like a small, focused AI companion built in an afternoon. And that idea lines up with where the rest of the industry is going. OpenAI's upcoming hardware device is being teased as more peaceful and calmer than the iPhone. A small, likely screen-like gadget that filters your life instead of spamming you, context-aware enough to know when to speak up and when to stay invisible.
I will say the vibe. One of the things that I think has gone wrong with modern technology, and by the way, a lot has gone right. I think the iPhone is like thus far the crowning achievement of consumer products. It's an amazing thing. But one of the things that has gone wrong, walking through Times Square in New York and constantly just dealing with all the little indignities along the way, flashing lights in my face, tension going here, people bumping into me, like noises going off. I don't think it's making any of our lives like peaceful and calm and just letting us focus on other stuff. Not really bother you, but when it should like present information to you or ask for your input or not, and you trust it over time, and it does have just this incredible contextual awareness of your whole life. Cabin by a lake and in the mountains and sort of just enjoying the peace and calm. I hope we build devices that can offer you back some of that spirit.
These devices that will be built at some point, when do you think people will be able to see?
What you're seeing with Lumina is the software side of that future. AI that quietly tracks your state, runs on powerful models like Gemini 3, and meets you with the right interface at the right moment. Whether that's a full desktop experience or a tiny, calm device in your pocket. Across all these tests, the pattern is clear. Gemini 3 is brilliant at turning high-level ideas into structured artifacts, games, dashboards, 3D sims, full apps, as long as your instructions are clear and you're precise about format. While Nano Banana Pro is a visual powerhouse for planning, concept art, and renovations, but not yet a tool for precise engineering or advanced anatomy. If you want deep dives on any of these, the Neon Defender game, the Savings Growth Simulator, the Backyard Renovation Flow, or a full build series on Lumina, drop your pick in the comments. And if you're already playing with Gemini 3 or Nano Banana Pro, share what you've built so far so we can see where these models genuinely shine and where they still need a human in the loop. Hit like if this gave you ideas, subscribe for more AI trend alerts, and see you in the next one.